Alright guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video. So, today, I wanted to do a video. This is probably going to end up being very long, but I do want to be fair here. I wanted to kind of take a look at who seems better. LR Rose, Goku Black, of course, or the LR Fusions, right? Now, I would say most people would say that the LR Fusions are better. One thing that is without question, I think, to me, is that after Gogeta and Vegito both transform into blue, you know, for like that first turn, or the first maybe 2 turns, they're sort of on par with Rose, but then after that, they quickly blow him away. It's just, they begin to get so crazy, both of the blue fusions, that Rose just, he can't compete. Like, their defense gets insane, both Gogeta and Vegito. They're attacking multiple times. They have their active skills in their back pocket, which, you know, are going to be usable if you're going to be, you know, moving through one of these really long events. So, you know, Vegito and Gogeta begin to look super crazy. Now, at the start of this video right now, I probably would say I do have Vegito and Gogeta. I sort of kind of have them almost like tied at number 1. Because Gogeta, you know, when he goes blue, he has 1 super attack, an additional normal, but he's super effective against all types, right? And then Vegito, when he goes blue, it's super attack, and then guaranteed super, and then, you know, that's sort of it, right? But he doesn't have super effective against all types, stuff like that. He also gets 2 ki on super attack, and he gets stack up some ki, whereas Gogeta, right, gets 5 ki right away whenever he super attacks. So because of that, like, if you're in a shorter event, I feel like Gogeta is probably going to look more impressive. Like, if you're in Super Battle Road, I feel as though Gogeta, chances are, is going to look more impressive to you than Vegito. But if you're going through a long event, Legendary Goku event, Infinite Dragon Ball History, Vegito is definitely going to, like, as you go further and further, he looks more impressive for sure. His defense gets crazy. Even, like, you know, in Mastered UI Goku, can't really hurt Vegito too much. Even though Vegito has type disadvantage, right? Like, Vegito's just that insane. Now, if we're going to say Rose is better than the Fusions, it's because of the first 3 turns. Because turn 1, 2, and 3, the Fusions, Vegito and Gogeta, are exactly the same. They have 70% attack and defense. They have that second attack, it's an additional, that has a medium chance of being a super attack. And then they also have a 50% chance to dodge in the 3rd slot, right? That medium chance, by the way, is a 25% chance, which is good. It's very good, because, you know, back in the, like people would think of, like, those additionals and then what super attack chance it has, and think of the old days with, like, Physical Cooler, Physical Vegito Blue, Omega Shenron. Those units are at, like, 10% for like, the chance to super attack, right? And the blues are here at 25%, which is pretty solid. So, you know, they're going to be really good. But the first 3 turns before they transform in turn 4, Rose is like, he's able to hit like the 7 million attack stat range, like, with ease, I would say. So like, if you're gonna say Rose is better, it's those first 3 turns. He is just a monsoon compared to the Fusions, who are like solid. Like, for example, I recently did get no item Fusion Super Battle Road done with Blue Gogeta. Gogeta definitely helped, but he did not move the needle at all. I don't think. Like I easily could have replaced him off the team, and I don't think it would have been like, oh, you know, this is so much harder. It's so crazy. Like, no. Like, but Rose, like, if I had put him on that team, he would have made things, I think, 25 times easier, because Rose is just a lot more well-suited for Super Battle Road. Now, another thing to consider, too. So, usually what I do with the Fusions, if it's like a difficult event, is I'll put them in slot 3 until they transform, right? Because their defense isn't really the greatest. I mean, we might as well go ahead and move. I've jabbered on long enough, right? We might as well go ahead and start playing. But the thing about the Fusions is, you know, they have that 50% chance to dodge, which is very good. And your best bet is to really take advantage of that. This first turn is actually one reason why I have sort of slided back onto thinking that the Fusions are better, by the way, is because, you know, even if you build the team in like a proper manner for Rose, you can get like rotations like this. Like, and again, this is where, if Rose is going to be better than the Fusions, he has to do it now. Right now is when Rose has to be better than the Fusions. Turn 1, 2, and 3. because, again, once they go blue, he's not really able to compete too much. So 2.88 right there. That's not good enough. If he wants to be better than the fusions, that is just flat out not good enough. Now, his defense, right? I would say a lot of people sort of, oh boy, the fusions, they're about to look way better than Rose, by the way, I think. Because we did get them linked up with each other, which they link up incredibly well together, right? Plus, we have Supremo Pie of Time on rotation right here. And, you know, I think they're about to put in some big-time work. So this is about to be interesting, right? But one thing about Rose, right, he's not as bad defensively as people think he is, because he does greatly raise defense for one turn, which is what, 50% defensive buff, right? So what was his defense last turn? Was it like 70k or something like that? So the first super attack would raise his defense by like 35k or something like that, getting him above 100k, because it's basically, you're going to get 50% of what your defense is, right? So if you get a double super attack with Rose, like, it's great, like, his defense is going to be completely amazing for how hard he hits. Okay, so, see, I want both Vegito and Gogeta to get turns here. I'll do this. We'll do this. This is fine. Now, the other thing the fusions do is they also do get 3 ki on super attack. So, that's the thing. The fusions have a much easier time of supering than Rose does. No matter what, really. Because they get 3 ki upon super attack in base. And they have way better key links in base as well. You know, they both have Fuse Fighter and Over in a Flash. Gogeta also has Prepared for Battle, but he loses it when he transforms. Whereas Rose has only got Fear and Faith and Dismal Future, right? But Rose, you know, basically the gimmick with him, he's similar to like LR Tech Broly or LR Gohan and Goten, where you want to build the team around them, flood them with ki, and then they dominate, right? Rose is that type of unit. But the fusions, I guess like one reason is like upon further thinking too, right? Like, I feel like you don't need to build the team around them. Like, you could just like let them loose, and it's like they're just, you know, their links are so good. That's not even too bad. Yeah. So like okay. So turn 1, Gogeta's first appearance, his attack stat was higher than Rose, right? But again, he had way more ki. Then he's got an additional. He also had a support type unit on rotation. Then the additional right there. But like that, just like so far, like the fusions, again, just look way better than Rose. Now, if we had that first rotation differently, right? If we had God Topo, Rose, and Supremo Pie of Time, you know, obviously, you know, Rose is going to be 5-6 million. You know, he's probably going to have tons of ki. You know, he's going to be fine. But because of the fact that you can get these turns where Rose is not like super impactful, right? If ki just doesn't break right. That's the thing, like the fusions, you're not really going to see that too often. And it, like, you know, even when I was taking Gogeta through the fusion category stage of Super Battle Road and trying not to super attack with him, it is incredibly hard to avoid super attacking with the fusions. Like they super attack and there's nothing you can do about it. All right, so this is perfect right here. So I'll super attack with God Topo. Okay, so this is still turn 3 right here, right? So the fusions could not transform. The only thing is ki is not as good as I would like. Yeah, if I use ki up items, like we could get the 18 ki super attack and boom. But I almost feel as though like for this type of video, I don't want to do that. I don't actually want to use ki up items right here, so I'm not gonna. So we're gonna have to just see how much damage Rose is gonna do without any additional ki up items. Now, Rose does have an additional mechanic for obtaining ki, where every time he finishes off an enemy, he gets 2 ki. He did already do that earlier in the fight, so he did get 2 ki. We're also gonna have big bad bosses right here. So Rose's defense, I wish Rose could eat a super attack right here, because his defense is gonna be really good. Once he gets big bad bosses, and then he, you know, greatly raises his defense on top of that, and then if you get a double super attack, like, he could easily hit, like, over 200k defense with a double super attack, I think. So, you know, again, he's very good. 4.72 without an 18 ki is obviously incredible, right? But is that alone enough to put him above the fusions? No. No, it is not. In order for Rose to be better than the fusions, again, I need him pumping out, like, 6 mil the first 3 turns, like, pretty consistently. That would put him above the fusions, right? So this first, like, sort of run right here, right? This is just, like, me sort of, like, setting the table. Like, we're showing all 3 of them on the same team, right? Letting them play around. throughout this, I don't know how long this video is going to be, by the way. I mean, I might let this video be like an hour long or something like that, right? Just like a full hard-on comparison between the fusions and Rose. Starting the video out, I like the blue fusions better. I think by the time we get to the end, it's probably going to be pretty clear. I think that the blue fusions are probably going to be better, but we'll see how things look. Again, you know, we don't have to spend much time in like the Legendary Goku event because like we go in there, Rose will get absolutely cream-pied beyond belief, whereas Vegito has type disadvantage and he can dominate UI Goku, right? So like, I might just take like the clip from when I took Rose into the Legendary Goku event, you know, Goku destroying Rose, incinerating him beyond belief, and then like, you know, Vegito and Gogeta are just like laughing at UI Goku as they're just like so ridiculous. So, okay. 74k and 75k are the defensive stats for Gogeta and Vegito right there. Now, I would mention my Gogeta does have a level 5 defensive equip. I saw some numbers, by the way, on how the defensive equip will impact the unit versus an attack equip will. And from what I saw, it seems as though these defensive equips are borderline worthless just compared to the actual, like, real tangible effect that the attack +5 equip is going to provide. So it seems as though, like, on nearly, like, every unit outside of maybe something like, I don't know. I don't know. But, like, nearly every unit, I think the attack +5 equipment is actually going to be more beneficial. But equipment is so hard to get that, like, whatever. This defensive +5 will suffice for a long time because he already does hit hard enough, right? But my Gogeta does have that. Vegito is actually doesn't have a bronze. I just have this. This is, like, the only good gold equipment I've gotten the entire thing. And I think my Rose does have... He just has this gold. I think this will give him a little bit of extra damage on super attack, but probably nothing too insane. So, yeah, I haven't really gotten equipment that I, you know, really like to get. So, okay. The other thing, too, about the blue fusions, remember, is that when they super attack, they're raising attack and defense for 1 turn. So, what that means is, you know, again, for their attack, well, they raise attack on 12 key. They only raise defense on 18 key, but... like, that's good because it's going to allow the, like, additional super attacks like that to hit a little bit harder, you know, the 12 key. But the fact that they're raising defense on both is going to allow the blue fusions to defend at an incredibly high level. Now, usually you're not going to want to put the blue fusions in slot 1. We'll do it here just because I think this is going to show that Gogeta just does not give a damn about type disadvantage right here in a Dokkan event, right? I don't think he's going to really, yeah, he's taking almost nothing. This might do a little bit of damage, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal whatsoever. And then he gets 5 key on super attack, so he's going to be well over an 18 key super, and he's going to do super effective damage against all types. Like, you know, 3 million right away, boom, sit down. Like, it's just, they're very impressive, right? Now, the other thing, too, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to, it's not really, I don't think it's going to be necessary to this video, because, again, the more I use them, the more I do think I have the fusions above Rose, right? But the fusions do have this ability with the active skill as well to activate their entire passive. Yeah, look at this. I mean, this is another instance, really, of the key does not break correctly for us here. Like, I'm glad that this is going this way. And again, I don't actually want to use... I am gonna use an item here. But I don't actually want to use a key up item during this video, right? Because this is... I just want to show, like... you know, Rose versus fusions. We'll go into another run where I actually, like, let Rose, like, have a good situation. Like, see, like, boom, right there. If Rose is going next, he'd be great with awesome with all that key. But, I mean, this is a good example of what can happen with Rose, whereas it's, like, it's super hard for this to happen to the fusions with their additionals and the way they're getting key upon super attack and stuff like that, right? They're not really going to encounter situations like this too often, whereas Rose, it can actually happen to him. I'm probably going to let this play out because I'm pretty sure we're going to go into the next turn with Gogeta under 50% HP, so we could use the active skills. Maybe. I mean, it depends on Rose's performance right here, obviously, but he should do enough damage. I don't know if he did. Oh, we got the additional. If only I'd gotten the super attack with Supremo 5 time. I don't know that Gogeta is under 50% HP or not right here. He's, like, right at the threshold, huh? I don't know. I think he might be at it, 50%. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's good. All right, so Rose also has an active skill, right? His active skill makes him super effective against all types. and he gets an additional key per orb. And it's a rage mode, like Tech Beerus or Vegeta and Bulma, something like that. Rose has the best one in the game by far, for sure. Like, Great Ape Mechanic, Rage Mechanic, any of those, Rose has the strongest, for sure. Baby's is... If we compare it to Baby, which is a Great Ape transformation, Baby's is better because Baby's would last for multiple... It can last for multiple turns, whereas Rose's does not. It's only one turn, right? I think Baby's can end after only one turn, but you can get it to be multiple turns as well. Now, Baby is not super effective against all types, but he does get an additional key per orb, which is good. And again, there's not too much difference between the Giant transformation and the Rage like, it's basically the same thing, right? So, Rose is 6 turns and under 66% HP. Now, Rose hits so hard, and the teams he's on hits so hard, you're not going to see that outside of the Legendary Goku event and Infinite Dragon Ball history, where the fusions are already 50 times better than him in those events anyway, right? Now, the fusions, you can actually get their active skills. In Super Battle Road, Battlefield, no. You're not, unless you, like, I did get it in Battlefield. I might put that clip in this video as well. But, like, I really fished for it, right? Like, I went super far out of my way. And it was only in that special Broly fight where he's 2 phases long, which I think is the only Battlefield fight that's ever been 2 phases long. I mean, I have seen people fuse against Jiren, so perhaps, I guess, against Jiren, maybe you could do the active skill, the Ultimate Kamehameha with Gogeta, or the Final Kamehameha with Vegito. Maybe you could do it, right? I guess. But chances are you're not going to get it. Dokkan events, it is very reasonable. The earliest you can get the active skill with the fusions is 6 turns, because they can only do it the turn after they transform. They transform on turn 4, right? So turn 6 is the earliest they could do it. The enemy has to be one enemy, and he's got to be under 50% HP. Because you don't have the HP restriction, it makes it very easy to get it on Dokkan events, as we can see right here. I'm going to use Vegito's right now while I'm talking, because I feel like most of this video so far has just been me talking, but probably going to put a lot of clips of various different, like showings of the fusions, because I have so much, like, footage of Rose and the fusions already on the channel. I might just cherry pick. Is this going to finish him? If it crits. Okay, it did not. That's perfect, because now we can actually see. Okay. So, man, you know, actually, I actually made a bit of a mistake here. You know what? I might just actually reset real quick, because... Okay, I could actually use this opportunity to show the last part of their passive, actually, with Vegito right there, because Vegito only did that much damage, so this is going to be perfect. So, the fusions, right? They launch a guaranteed additional super attack, and they have a 50% chance of evading enemy attack as the 3rd attacker in a turn. If you use the active skill in the 3rd slot, that will activate it. So let me actually just go ahead and back out, right? So this is going to reset the turn to the beginning, you know, before we use Vegito's active skill. And I'm going to use, I guess we'll just use Gogeta. Well, yeah, we'll just use Gogeta's right here, because it'll be super easy to prove that Gogeta has had the effects, because Gogeta does not do a guaranteed additional super attack as part of him being in slot 1 or 2, right? So the fact that he's going to bust one out right away, well, I mean, Gogeta's probably not going to survive Blue Gogeta's 18 key super attack, which is going to get, but yeah, you guys know what I'm saying. All right, so we're going to do this right here. Now, Gogeta, one thing about his active skill compared to Vegito's, his is going to hit harder. Because it'll be super effective against all types if you're in slot 1 or 2. But you have to be in slot 1 or 2 for Gogeta's active skill to be super effective against all types. So it's not going to be super effective against all types right here because he's in slot 3. It's one reason I put him in slot 3 is to make sure he did not finish Gogeta off right there. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to do this right here. I do not have him linked up with Vegito. Obviously, we link him up with Vegito, and his key goes skyrocketing. I could grab that, and he's easily at an 18 key super attack, right? I want to show him getting his additional 12 key, which he could only get via the active skill, right? Because both fusions do guaranteed second supers in the 3rd slot, but Vegito, he does guaranteed additional super in all 3 slots, right? Whereas Gogeta would have to be in slot 3. So in order for Gogeta to do an additional super attack like this in slot 1, it would have to be from him using active skill. And there's his dodging kicking in. The 50% chance to dodge kicking in because he used the active skill in slot 3. So it creates a situation where, you know, you can have Gogeta super effective against all types, busting out 2 guaranteed super attacks right there, and he has a 50% chance of dodge. So, like, on this turn, that version of Gogeta right there is the strongest single unit in the game. I think nothing can compete with that Gogeta right there, who can use his active skill in slot 3, and then his passive at that point, 77% attack and defense start a turn, key 5 on super. He has the additional second super attack, 50% chance of dodging. Then he gets to 7% attack and defense with each attack performed in slot 1 or 2, up to a max of 77%. And then he's effective against all types. And then he's raising his defense on both super attacks with an amazing link set, like Over in a Flash, Fierce Battle, Kamehameha, Super Saiyan. Like, it's insane. Like, that Gogeta that we just saw with the active skill, I would, like, there's nothing that is going to do what he can do. Nothing. But, like, it's so impossible to see that situation. Like, you have to go, again, super far out of your way to set that up. So, like, it's just not even really feasible, right? Like, that Gogeta we just saw. Like, again, he didn't even fit. Like, he did the active skill, and then he did one super attack. He had a guaranteed second super attack coming. Then he would have also done the additional normal after that. And then he probably, because at that point he did 3 attacks, would have had his potential system attack as well. So he could have supered 3 times right there with the active skill and a normal attack, and all of the attacks except for the active skill would have been super effective against all types. Now, obviously, Rose can't compete with that. Right? Like, yeah, he's not doing that. He can't do that no matter what. Like, the best Rose is going to look is probably on a turn with his active skill, honestly. Like, the amount of damage he can rack up on that is very good. So, alright, I do want to, like, just show, like, turn 1, 2, or 3, I want Rose, like, full power Rose. That's the next thing I want to show. Then, I mean, again, I'll grab some clips, you know, Legendary Goku event, Super Battle Road, maybe maxing out some of the fusions on, like, a Dokkan event. I mean, that was a pretty good showing of the fusions, but maybe show, like, some of their ridiculous attack stats they can get. Again, I do just want to show, like, a wide array of these characters in the game, right? I don't mind. Usually, I don't like videos to be over, like, 20 minutes at max, but this one, I think this is a special one. We'll go all night with this one. Alright, guys, so we're in a Dokkan event. Now, this is what I wanted. This is actually very rare, but first try, we got this, which I really love. Turn 1, we got Rose, right? Boom. In pretty much the setup I wanted for him. So this is very, very good. Alright, I'm trying to think of how best to get the key. Maybe I'll do this. Again, I would like Rose. Yeah, okay, that's perfect. I want Rose to be at least 20 key. I think we're just shy. 24, 23, 21, 20. Yeah, well, no, we're at 20 key. Okay, so he has his passive. Yeah, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, this is perfect. So this is Rose right here with his full passive, because the reason Rose hits so hard is he gets 66% attack and defense at the start of turn. What's his defense at? 95k is good. So he's going to get, what, like 47k defense after he super attacks? Something like that? Basically. That's good. So, again, that's going to put him at, like, 100 and... what, like... 130 something, or whatever. Let me not make myself look too stupid here. But if he would then do a second super attack, again, it's going to push him up to about 200k defense. So again, like, I do want to make the point that Rose is not as bad defensively as people think, but I mean, the fusions can be better defensively right away, because you can just put them in slot 3, let the 50% chance to dodge work for you, which, again, 50% chance to dodge I've found is something you can have consistently happen, and you could sort of rely upon it, right? Anything lower than that, I don't really like, but the fusions have got 50%, that works fine. So his defense is fine, but he also has this extra mechanic right here, which I hope they bring back for, like, a Dokkan Fest TUR or something like that, because this is what makes Rose really good, is he gets 6% attack per key meter bar up to 120%, which basically it gets him up to 20 key, right? So at 20 key, his passive attack buff is 265.2%. Now, again, you put, like, a 265% attack buff bonus on a character that is in, like, top 10 in the game in, like, highest attack stat. I mean, I think he's, like, 13 or something. Like, he's not actually top 10, but he's right there, right? 21,600 attack. So that's why he hits so freaking hard. He does also heal, by the way, which is something that no one ever brings up. he heals 6% HP in a turn in which he actually gets hit, which is good. So it means he could deal good damage. So this is a good turn for Rose, by the way. Mai is giving 40% plus Fierce Battle. Then the other Goku Black at the end is giving some stuff. So Rose at 716, turn 1. No items. The enemy did not have to have their attack lowered or anything like that, right? So it's not like it wasn't completely necessary on that, like, those characters. So, like, LR Goku and Frieza, right? LR Goku and Frieza could do something like that on turn 1 also. But they have to have, you know, like, Turles lower the enemy's attack, or Android 17 lower the enemy's attack, or, like, the tech support Tien lower the enemy's attack, right? Like, they have to get that done before then LR Goku and Frieza can hit that level of damage. But LR Goku and Frieza can actually out-damage Rose, but Rose is not relying on the enemy having their attack lowered in order to do that, right? So his can be a bit more consistent, I guess. I don't know. But the thing about LR Goku and Frieza, too, is their links far destroy what Rose has got, because they have Shocking Speed, Over in a Flash, and Turnaround Power. And then the teams you're going to run them on, you easily have units that are going to have those links, making it very, very easy for them to, like, always get their 18P super attack, whereas Rose occasionally can struggle. Again, now, in, like, a Dokkan event, I'll just quickly do a turn real quick, but in, like, a Dokkan event, it's not really going to be so much of an issue for Rose, I don't think. I mean, I do think, like, he's going to, like, pretty much always look better than, like, that first turn, right? The reason for that is because that mechanic of his where he's getting to Ki with each final blow delivered in a Dokkan event, that's super simple for him to do. Just deliver the final blow. He will be eradicating these bosses with ease when he's hitting them with any of his super attacks, right? Like, just pretty much every single time, they just get completely annihilated by Rose. And we're just, like, always going to see that, right? So that's one of the big things with him. Actually, I think it's probably better if we have Goatsu. I guess it doesn't matter. They only have Fierce Battle. So here, we'll just get a super attack. This is what, turn 3? So this is a turn 3 super attack. So this turn right here would still be before the fusions could transform, right? Another thing to consider carefully. And there is at 5.7 million. Again, if the fusions had 3 super attacks, they could match that, which they can do here and there, right? Because again, I already established that their second super attack has a much better chance of being a super attack than many older units we've seen with similar mechanics, right? So again, I don't want to... I'm trying to be as fair as I can to both sides, both Rose and the fusions. 25% for the second super attack is very good. That is not bad whatsoever, right? So I don't want that to be like, oh, it's going to be so super rare to see them super 3 times. Like, you're going to get it every once in a while, right? Of course, you need the hit a potential system to activate as well, but, like, that is... I've seen them super attack in base 3 times many, many times, you know, in all my time using the fusion. So it is something you're going to see. Okay. So again, let's just see, like, a bunch of different situations with Rose and the fusions in various events, you know, a Super Battle Road, Legendary Goku event, seeing how they have their strengths and weaknesses. Alright guys, so now we're going to take a look at what LR Rose and LR Vegito Blue can do here in the Legendary Goku event, and it's going to be very one-sided. This is obviously very, very deep into the event, where Vegito Blue has basically fully stacked up his attack and defense from his passive, and, you know, Rose doesn't really have stacking and stuff like that. So, you know, here's where, like, Vegito can, like, single-handedly incinerate some of these phases. I mean, look at that. That's just his 18 key. Then he has the guaranteed super attack follow-up, and, like, at this point, his defense is through the roof. I mean, he can't be touched. He's doing this damage. It's just, like, it's insane, right? And then here we have him against STR UI Goku, you know, the very next round. And again, it's like, just watch as he turns STR UI Goku into nothing. Like, he just disintegrates the man's HP pool. Like, you know, maybe, like, some players are spoiled by what, like, STR Spirit Bomb Kaioken Goku can do, but, like, again, that's with his active skill, whereas this Vegito is, like, he just tears UI Goku up with just his attacks. Like, it's nuts. And then he's taking double digits after that. Like, it doesn't matter. And then here, we'll have LR Rose, where, you know, as good as he is, and he is able to get the high attack stat. Look at that. He took 73k right there. I mean, he does dish out a 6.3 million attack stat. This is with a support type unit with Big Bad Boss. I think Big Bad Boss is active right now. Yeah, it is. But he didn't get the double super attack right there. So you know what that means? Death is what that means. If he'd gotten that second super attack, he'd be good, but he didn't get it, so imminent demise is all that awaits us right there. Bam. Vegito Blue would not take the same amount of damage, even from a super attack from Int UI Goku, right? Here's Rose's active skill. Again, I mean, honestly, this active skill is, it might be the best in the game. I mean, if we're going to compare all active skill attacks, like this one, again, might be actually be the best one, but you're just never going to see it. Like, you know, that's very important. I mean, here in the Legendary Goku event or Infinite Dragon Ball History, sure, you could see it, right? But, I mean, the whole point of this video is Rose better than the fusions, or are the fusions better? And, like, you know, the fusions are just so much better in, like, the Legendary Goku event that, like, what Rose does here with the active skill is almost, like, inconsequential to me, right? In comparison to what the fusions are capable of doing. So, like, yeah, again, like, here's him with the active skill. We get this very nice little win animation right here, but you're just not gonna see this almost ever, really. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what Rose does against Int UI Goku, right? You know, the strongest, probably, like, the single strongest enemy in the game as of right now. And there he's taking 100k before he can do anything, right? Whereas, you know, Vegito Blue might take a little, he'd take a little bit of damage right there, but it wouldn't have been that bad. And I mean, like, he does dish out a good attack set, but then he's still taking 40-something K after, so yeah, you know. Alright, and now we'll take a look at Blue Gogeta in the Legendary Goku event, and just the way it went down with Vegito in here, you know, we can expect the same thing to happen with Gogeta. He's just going to completely tear Goku to shreds. You know, 1,000,000 on a normal attack is huge. And then we get the hidden potential system additional right there from Gogeta. But again, what's going to be most impressive about the fusions is not the damage they're doing, but the way they can tank against UI Goku. So UI Goku does 100k right there is nothing. Nothing. That's not anything. Then here we are against Int UI Goku, and Gogeta's taking double-digit damage before he even attacks. Remember, every super attack by Gogeta does raise his defense, right? So the fusions are always going to be better defensively after they super. But for him to take double digits before he even attacks, remember Rose was taking 100k before he even attacked. So obviously, you know, again, Legendary Goku event, Rose just cannot begin to dream to match up to what the fusions are capable of doing. But, you know, in something like Super Battle Road, I think Rose will probably look better, right? So 182k right there, again, it's just really not that much. And then, of course, here we have a turn where we could utilize the active skill. You know, again, in the Legendary Goku event, Dokkan events, you're going to be able to get this to activate pretty decently often. I mean, it's something you will be able to see, right? Whereas Rose's is going to be ultra rare. You know, 6 turns and under 66% HP is not the greatest. And then here's another turn with Gogeta. Here's him eating a super attack before he attacks at all, and we'll be able to see what his defensive numbers are right here. But again, Gogeta just looking very good. So again, he's able to take off a lot of damage from like an Int UI Goku super attack just by supering first. The fusions are very impressive. I mean, in terms of, like, are they the most fun units in the game? I probably would say yes. I mean that maybe that's like if you're a global player wondering, like, who's more fun, Rose or the fusions? It probably is the fusions. I would say they're the most fun. All right, now we're moving into Dokkan Battlefield. Here's what all 3 units will look like in Dokkan Battlefield. Now, here's where Rose, I think, is going to really look better. One reason is because, like, the absolute best situation suited for Rose would be on, like, an extreme int team, which is what you're probably going to want to do in Dokkan Battlefield. So we're going to be able to see Rose at just, like, a ridiculous level, right? Now, again, the fusions are not going to be bad in Battlefield either, because, I mean, look at this damage that Vegito's dishing out, right? Like, this is a lot. This is turn 1 right here, dishing out huge, monstrous chunks of HP damage. And then if you want to put them in the 3rd slot, they do have the 50% chance to dodge. Good for something like Jiren, right? You know, again, the fusions will look good in Dokkan Battlefield. But then, like, Rose, like, again, we put him next to that Scouter Vegeta right there, who just creates, like, int orbs. And it's just, like, super easy for him. Like, I don't know. Like, Rose, just with all the units on there, Metal Cooler, the Transforming Goku Black, Scouter Vegeta, there's just a lot there for Rose to look really really crazy powerful, which we're about to see right here. Again, like this is, you know, this is either turn 1 or 2 Dokkan Battlefield, like almost 5 million right there. That's a huge number. And then look what he does to Zamasu. Like if he double supered right there, maybe he could have like one-shotted Zamasu. Because again, like this, we know how difficult Zamasu can be in Dokkan Battlefield, where he's just healing non-stop, right? Usually what you want to do is stun him, but like Rose is so powerful that you can like annihilate Zamasu before it really even becomes an issue, which again, it's just like, it really does say a lot about Rose and the amount of damage that he is capable of dishing out. Like, see, there he is a little bit higher, this time linked up with transforming Goku Black, right? Being able to get like Fierce Battle and stuff like that. So there's Rose. Now we can go ahead and take a look at Gogeta. Now, you know, again, in this special 5th anniversary version of Dokkan Battlefield, you know, this Broly boss does have 2 phases. So we will actually be able to use the active skill against this Broly, right? Whereas typically, that's not something you're going to see very common, right? So, okay, so here's again, a decent amount of damage he's able to do turn 1, but again, he also has a 50% chance to dodge right here, which is really good. So, like, you know, Broly is only going to attack once right there, but if Broly was attacking, like, 6 times or something like that, we would have a pretty decent chance at actually evading a lot of those attacks. Again, for Battlefield, in particular, Jiren is who comes to mind, like, where you would want that level of power. I think the fusions could be handy. Like, you know, again, a 50% chance to dodge the first 3 turns is a powerful defensive tool. They still can be good offensively in the first 3 turns, but, you know, it's a little bit just more RNG based, whereas, like, you know, Rose, I mean, I guess it is for Rose as well, right? Depending upon what the rotations are looking like, what the key is going to look like from the field, stuff like that. So here's Gogeta doing a lot of damage. But, you know, this Broly is a strong enough defensive unit, I guess. And then here we can go ahead and finish him off with the active skill. I think I did manage to use Bardock and Gine's active skill just before this, too. So the damage that Gogeta is going to dish out on this one is just, like, sickening, right? Like, it's just like, yeah, see ya. Have fun, Broly, and adios, my boy. And then, of course, you know, the fusions, when they finish with the active skill, having these, like, amazing wind screens. Oh, it just looks so damn good. The fusions, again, are just so much fun. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take it into Dokkan, or Super Battle Road. Again, Rose is really impressive in Super Battle Road, because he can, like, this is no items, and he can take double digits after super attacking, right? It's only double-digit damage. These are the attack stats that he can toss out there in Super Battle Road, like a huge deal. And then one of the more impressive feats I've seen from any of these LRs was this right here. If you guys have seen any of my attempts at no-iteming Realm of God Super Battle Road, you'll know how triggered I got by this stage right here. This I consider this like the single hardest fight in Super Battle Road almost. And like Rose, Dokkan attacks and completely annihilates it in one hit. Like, this was, like, insane to me. Like, you know, linked up with AGL Zamasu, we did have Supremo Pie of Time, but then he just does this Dokkan attack and completely one-shots the entire field, which was just so crazy to me. I mean, again, turn 1 or 2, he's capable of doing that. Like, just very impressive. Alright, guys, so we'll end this with some big numbers that the LRs can put up, right? So here's, you know, I don't know if this is Rose's best attack stat, but it's up there, right? One of his best attack stats. Like, it's very close to the max of what he can put up. He's breaking a 10 million attack stat right there, which is very impressive, right? No doubt about it. But, you know, then when you start thinking about what the fusions are capable of, they can get way above that. I just added this in right here. You know, this we'll be able to see the unique win screen by Vegito. We've already seen Rose's, we've seen Gogeta, so I wanted to make sure that Vegito, we got his sort of unique win screen active skill animation in here as well. You know, he crits, finishes that, Vegito blew off, and then, you know, he also pretty much flicks his wrist, and then that is very good looking, like, damn. The fusions are just, they're fun. You know, as time has gone on, it's like, oh yeah, the fusions, they're number 1. Now, I do want to point out that there was damage reduction items in use right here, by the way. This is not going to be the two Tech Vegitos defending from just their defense. I believe there is like a double Whis is active right here, so there's a lot of damage reduction active. So, you know, while we are looking at the attack stats for the Vegitos right here, don't worry about what they do defensively, because that's with the aid of an item, whereas most of the other turns and stuff earlier have been without, right? And then there we go. Like, those two attacks right there, that was not Vegito even close to his max, by the way. He can get so much higher than that. But, like, that, just those two attacks well surpassed what Rose had done, right? And that wasn't even with Vegito getting his additional from the potential system. So, you know, keep that in mind. And then here's Blue Gogeta. Again, this is a little bit higher, you know, 9.25. So that's also super effective against all types. And then he's got the additional normal and stuff like that. Like, the fusions are just, I don't know. I feel as though we've gone over enough. Let me know what you guys think. Personally, you know, going through all of it, I probably would say the fusions are better. You know, again, Rose is going to look more impressive in Super Battle Road and probably Battlefield. But the fusions will be, like, more impressive in Easy Ace, which I haven't taken any of them into Easy Ace, but the fusions would be more impressive in Easy Ace with a 50% chance to dodge. It's just like, if you go through it all, like, you know, Rose can definitely look more impressive early on, but you do need, you know, some luck with rotations and key and such like that. Whereas once the fusions transform, they just throw everything out the window with pure power. So I would kind of say that the fusions do take the crown, but Rose is up there. He's probably within the top 5. I mean, right now, I'm not really too sure how I'd rate Rose. You know, LR Goku and Frieza, Kale and Caulifla Gohan and Goten, Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, you know, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, LR AGL Gohan. Like, those units, that's probably like the top 10 or something like that. But, you know, I'm not really too sure on what a lot of those are. But I do kind of think that Gogeta and Vegito are kind of like twin crowns at the top, both #1, and then everything else falls in line after them. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.